Point number one, school will not make you rich. Point number two, start a boring company. Now it's the second month of 2024 and I decided to make this video because of you. Because a whole lot of you have recorded your New Year's resolutions and unfortunately, some of you have already forgotten about it. I mean, January is already over, so why not we continue with our normal lifestyle? Even though Iman Gadzi told you to wake up, you decided not to wake up. Even though Iman Gadzi told you that the time's up, and still nothing has changed. And that is why you would never be a millionaire. You see, you would never reach this level of opulence and class if you still do the exact same things you do before in the exact same manner. And then you may ask, how do you become a millionaire? Now you have to understand this one important factor. Money is a medium of exchange, and that medium of exchange is traded for two things, and those two things are products and services. If you have no product or service, you do not deserve to be rich, and money would never flow to you. But there's something very deep that I have realized. It's not just what to do to become a millionaire, but what not to do. And a whole lot of us invest our time and money into school, thinking school would make you a millionaire. Iman Gadzi, in which for those of you who know I call my mentor, released one of his series in which he titled The Rescue. And The Rescue was simply exposing the puppet masters behind the school authority. I just hope this video wouldn't screw up my YouTube channel. Think about something. Imagine the people who run the world, the people who control the banks, the people who say you have no right to go out, that you're going to be locked inside your home pretending to be, cough cough. See something 19. These people literally print money. A person who has an enormous amount of money, do you really think that person cares about money? No. Do you really think that person is so fascinated about the new Rolls Royce or the new Ferrari or the new Lamborghini that comes out into the market? Absolutely not. Do you really think these people are really fascinated about the new cryptocurrency or the new whatsoever shit coin that you say is going to become the next $1 million budget for the United States? Obviously not. Now, what is that one thing that a person who has all the money in the world, what is that one thing he wants? Power. And how do they get this power? They get this power from you by taking control of you. That is one of the reasons they tell you go to school. But do you think school will make you a millionaire? Now, let's go back to the story of the puppet masters who print money and exchange it for your life. As I initially asked, what is the one thing you think that a person who prints money will need? He's going to need power. He's going to need authority. He's going to need control. They need a level of power that they tell you, get into the room and lock yourself in there and remain there forever. And you do that. They need the kind of power that only they themselves become rich and you stay poor, because they've told you that the only way to become rich is to go to school, study some pointless degree for about 4 to 5 years on average, work some useless job for about 40 years, and they pay you in exchange of your time. Now, let me ask you a question. If actually I decide to have a money printing machine, I decide to build a machine that with a push of a button, I print all the money in the world, what do you think will happen to me? The government comes for me, right? Because they don't want me to have the kind of power and authority that they have. They don't want me to control the kind of masses that they control. So they only want to be the ones in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main reason they tell you to go to school. They don't tell you to go to school because they want to make you rich. Because at the end of the day, even if you become a lawyer or a doctor or an architect, well, you might as well earn a very huge amount of salary, but you're still a slave. You're still a slave to the puppet masters. Funny enough, I had a sibling of mine who said that where she was working, she's being treated like a slave. She's not given time and freedom. And I was like, didn't you know that that was the plan from the very onset? To be a slave. So how is it that people become rich without going to school? Look, you're never going to reach this level of opulence if you're not selling a product or a service, because it is physically and literally impossible. And now in this video, I'm going to be educating you on how you can be a millionaire with product-based businesses or service-based businesses. But there's one important factor that we must touch. The people in the middle class would rather save their money. But you see, the people with real wealth that are actually rich invest their money. Simply because money is not emotional, but it is emotional. And you see, this is a very important key lesson that I have learned from several studies and research of mine. Now, you see, what the world's top 1% of people do, rather, is to invest their money. And what middle class people will do is to save their money, and maybe even thinking going to school is the solution. A lot of people ask me, why do I have this hate and phobia for school? Because it's a great deceit and great deception. Now listen, if you want to become a millionaire, forget your passion. Your passion is irrelevant. Now look at Shell. Shell is a gas/fuel company with 210 billion pounds. Look at another company such as Rolex with 21 billion US dollars. Now the point I'm trying to make is that these are very boring companies. But these boring companies are making billions. Most of these billionaires that you meet are invested in boring companies because their main focus is not the company. Their main focus is not their passion. Their focus is the money. Now you have to decide between two things, whether you're going to be emotional or you're going to move with the money and be emotional. Now, going back to the issue of school, have you noticed that people who always fail or who always don't come out with good grades always have this emotional feeling and this tear breakdown and this feeling of I'm never going to make it? You see, that's the problem. They're always emotional with everything they do. That's why they'll never succeed. Now, one popular wealth influencer by the name of Cody Sanchez even speaks deeper on the same subject, and everything that she says concerning this is very much true. You see, every billionaire that you meet is invested in boring companies because boring companies create wealth. But if you look at their lifestyle is very much far from boring. Now, obviously, you may say SpaceX and the rest of them, those aren't boring because it is very amazing to fly your Tesla all the way to space, and your Tesla, currently in space, still revolves round the planet. And the thing is, Elon Musk did not start with SpaceX. Elon Musk started with Zip2, a boring company. Maybe if you've still not really understood some of the points I'm trying to make, point number 1, school will not make you rich. Point number 2, start a boring company. Yes, anyways, Elon Musk has a company called Boring Company. You're welcome. Now, getting on to our main subject, which is product-based businesses versus service-based businesses. Now, when we talk about a service-based business is your service trading in for money. For example, you have video editors, you have copywriters, you have salesmen, you have YouTubers, you have artists, and you have athletes. These are people who exchange their service for money. And then you go on to product-based businesses. Product-based businesses are people who exchange their products for money, in which I wouldn't really encourage anyone to start with because it's always easier to start with the service-based businesses. But however, you can try whatever you will. A product-based business could be, maybe you decide to start your own fashion brand, or maybe you decide to sell a product in which you have to create enormous amount of times. Sometimes you have to create about 1,000 to even 2,000 products. Now, maybe before you go into saying Louis Vuitton has a product-based business, or maybe Gucci has a product-based business, my friend, can you literally listen to yourself right now? These are mega companies that have been established over 5 to 7 decades, some of them even a century, and these are the businesses you want to start? Really? Or you want to build the next Rolls Royce? If you want to start as a beginner, making your first $1 million, it most likely will not come by product-based business, but rather by service-based business. Find a skill, become an expert at it, and monetize it. That's a service-based business. You're trading a service for your money. Look, you could learn how to write code, you could learn how to do video editing, you could learn salesmanship, you could learn a whole lot of these things. There are companies out there paying people $10,000, $20,000, even $100,000 a month for people who can perform these simple tasks and services, like maybe sales, or maybe video editing, or maybe even designing of websites. Can you be a millionaire? 100%. Will you be a millionaire? It depends on you. I wish you success, and episode 2 is coming soon.